Welcome back. President Trump is bringing energy production and investment back to America, boosting domestic drilling and mining. Renewable energy, meanwhile, a different story. The Trump administration working to roll back some of the Biden-era climate change subsidies, while the industry is still booming. Global investment in the sector hitting $386 billion in 2024. That was a 10% increase year over year. Joining us now to talk more about it is Energy Capital Partners Executive Chairman and Founder, Doug Kimmelman. Doug, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Maria. Very much looking forward to our chat.
And I know your company is a leading investor in energy, specifically electricity. Talk to us about the need for more electricity. It goes beyond just this AI boom, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The first time in maybe 3 decades, we've had demand growth for electricity. We've just never seen that before because energy efficiency really took any growth in population growth in GDP. But AI is a big driver, but it's not just AI. What the president's doing on onshoring of manufacturing comes with electricity demand. Cryptocurrency mining in the state of Texas, the demand for electricity for crypto is greater than the demand for electricity in the entire city of Houston. Electric vehicles haven't gone away. We've got that demand. And then we've just got electrification trends across the country. We got some maybe crazy things here, for example, in the state of New York, where there's a ban going forward on using natural gas in homes and buildings. It's got to be electricity. So we've got all of that demand, and then we've got a supply problem. We used to be 70% coal and nuclear is where our power came from, and now we're down to 40%. So we got to reverse those shutdowns as well.
Yeah, all really great points. You've got $35 billion in assets under management in terms of allocating your own capital. And how are you doing that if you're focused on electricity? I think you make a great point. A lot of times we say, oh, we need more electricity for the artificial intelligence boom. No, it's also this onshoring of manufacturing, which, of course, is the president's priority here. Get the supply chains back to America.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We've been doing this for several decades. We're the largest independent power generator in the country. I like to say we're in the business of reliability. No electricity, nothing in the economy is functioning. So there's nothing really much more important, but the spotlight is on it now, because if we're going to grow our way out of these deficits, right, we need GDP north of 3%. It's a gift that AI has come upon us. I call it the triangle of trillions. The spending on AI, but doesn't happen without electricity spend, doesn't happen without natural gas production. And so, that's the focus. And so we're very focused on whether it's buying existing natural gas-fired generation power plants, whether it's developing and building new, but also focusing on coal and nuclear. We've got to slow the shutdown of those and maybe expand some of those existing resources and retire them maybe further out in the future.
So you're saying slow down the shutdown of nuclear and coal?
Yeah, it's exactly right. The U.S., believe it or not, is still the world's largest generator of nuclear power, something like 94 operating reactors, but they're old. We built a lot of them in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And we've got to put the capital in to keep them running. I think you maybe just showed there Santa Onofre in California was shut down. We only have one left in California, Diablo Canyon. The governor there has talked about shutting it down. They probably need to reverse that decision. We've got a lot of new nuclear technologies. They're probably well off in the future, but hopefully we'll have some promise on that side. But coal, we need it, like it or don't like it, we need it for reliability. And I think we've got to slow the shutdown there. Secretary Wright has been in the forefront. He talks about net megawatts. We need a lot of new megawatts, but we think about it on a net basis. We can get there quicker by slowing the shutdown of existing resources.
Meanwhile, we know that AI demand and AI spending is through the roof. We're trying to gauge how much companies are really spending on AI as they look to power up data centers, the president's plan to put America first in the AI race. Doug, talk to us about this and this massive boom. I understand it's more than just AI, but do you get a sense of how much corporate America is putting into investing in AI through, data centers and whatever else is needed for that money?
It's our focus every single day, working with the hyperscalers, the Amazon, Googles, and Meta and the like. It's top of the list because they're now spending, we're probably crossing between those group of hyperscalers, $500 billion a year of capital. And they are obsessed about figuring out the electricity side of the resources. And they have to do that in a way, what might be the societal complaints of all of this AI build out and all of this power generation, this new power generation. One is on the emission side, and two is higher electricity prices. So it's got to be done in a very smart way so that the higher prices are borne by the hyperscalers. And we have, technologies when we think about emissions. Can we attach carbon capture to this, for example? Can more of it be nuclear, for example? But it is top of the list, and it's top of the list really for the U.S. economy because we need all of this AI spend to grow our way out of deficits, power our economy forward. But how we get that electricity quickly is top of mind, and a real focus of what can you deliver to us in scale, 500 megawatts, 1,000 megawatts quickly within 2 to 3 years in the critical data center build out locations in this country. So it is a hyper focus for us and the hyperscalers.
What's your sense of how significant increases in electricity prices will be?
Well, we have to go back historically. There's a lot of finger pointing going on by who's responsible. Power prices have been going up pretty dramatically over the last few years, well before power has been coming from the data centers. So if we go back a little bit of a history lesson, quite a critical focus over the last 15 years on we need to harden the grid. We're worried about climate. We're worried about severe weather. We can all take different sides of that argument, but that was the mantra. So utilities were spending, I would say, crazy amounts, hundreds of billions on the transmission and distribution side. Probably 50% of your electricity bill is transmission and distribution. And that's where the money's gone in. And that is now showing up in rates and driving up prices quite a bit. We've got an election, for example, in New Jersey coming up that may be one of the top arguments is electricity prices and what did it. So that's a historical perspective. But going forward, the retail consumer can't bear the burden of all of the hyperscaler build out. And I think the hyperscalers know that, and that shift will be coming to their side of the table. It's a small piece of the equation on the cost of bringing online data centers, the electricity piece of it. So they're willing to sign longer term contracts and willing to bear the burden of those higher prices. It costs a lot more to build a natural gas fired power plant today than it did 5-7 years ago, probably twice as much. Just look at the GE Vernovas and Siemens and Mitsubishis. They hold a lot of the cards because we need those turbines. Manufactured in the U.S., a good thing.
Yeah, sure. Doug, great to have you this morning. Thanks very much. We'll keep watching the story.
Thanks, Maria.